It might be hard to imagine Toronto as anything other than a sprawling metropolis, but at one time, it was a small enclave in a vast, untamed wilderness. Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to This House. Today we are exploring a Toronto mansion from over 200 years ago. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. In 1812, Mr. Justice Bolton's son, Darcy Bolton Jr., built a modest brick cottage in the wilderness surrounding Toronto. But he would not live here long. He headed across town to begin construction on his new mansion, known as the Grange, and sold the cottage to his brother-in-law, Chief Justice Sir John Beverley Robinson, who had gained the Queen's honor by uniting Upper and Lower Canada. Robinson quickly got to work enlarging the house. He added wings to the first floor, then expanded the house upwards, adding a second story. He then had the entire house covered in a pale stucco, and added a wrought iron Regency-style veranda. Now that his house was complete, he began taming the wilderness that surrounded him by planting formal gardens and outbuildings. When everything was built up, he sealed off the estate with a towering brick wall and wrought iron gates facing Richmond Street. The sumptuous interior provided a formal retreat from the wilderness. The entrance hall was decorated with antiques and trophies accompanying portraits telling the story of Canada's history. All hung below millwork, which had been painted in a bright white. At the end of the hall, beyond the brightly colored floral rug, the stairs rounded out at their landing, pivoting along the room's central axis in line with a chandelier suspended from a segmental arch. The drawing room was filled with antique furniture, which was arranged conversationally over layers of rugs. This room doubled as an art gallery, boasting paintings and sculptures. You will notice curtains hung as room dividers. One theory is that this would help cut down on winter drafts. Another is that it was used for separating the men and women during parties. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Continuing on, the library was finished out with built-in walnut bookshelves set against damask wallpaper. A hand-stenciled ceiling seemed to float above the classically styled fireplace, providing a visual anchor amongst the family portraits which surrounded it. The dining room's walnut wainscoting ran below floral wallpaper on the room's interior walls. However, it did not continue onto the exterior walls. The fireplace was inlaid with a tile mosaic facing the square table, set below a chandelier suspended from gilded plaster medallion. Though we don't have pictures of the bedrooms, we can imagine that this theme from the second floor landing might have continued through each door off the central hall. Robinson enjoyed this home with his family until 1838 when he fell ill. He and his wife moved to England to seek advanced medical care and rented out their house in the meantime. Their tenant, Charles Poulet Thompson, was the first Governor General of the newly united Canada and would host parties of 150 people at the house as often as once per week. During this time, Charles Dickens visited for a dinner party, after which he wrote, "The wild and rabid Toryism of Toronto is, I speak seriously, appalling," commenting on the English politics which ran the city. Later, Robinson returned to the house to live out his final days. He left the estate to his son, Christopher, who happily lived out the rest of his life in the house, bringing up a family with his loving wife Elizabeth. By this time, in 1910, Toronto was unrecognizable. Long gone were the days of uncharted deer paths and wild bears attacking livestock. Urban sprawl saw new homes being built every day, with paved roads leading to factories. Elizabeth decided to sell the estate to the Honorable George Cox to reside in as an esteemed member of Canada's political arena, with the agreement that he would preserve it for future political elites. But George did something dishonorable. He subdivided the estate and sold it off to the highest bidder, knowing that the house would be torn down and replaced with factories. In 1913, the house was demolished by the Methodist Book and Publishing House for a Bible printing factory. Thankfully, Elizabeth had caught word of George's betrayal and had the opportunity to salvage most of the architectural elements from the home before it was demolished. She built an exact replica of the house at 355 St. Clair Avenue. Everything from the bookshelves to the front door, from chandeliers to walnut paneling, were reinstalled at the new location. Elizabeth wanted the house to persist as it had been the host to some of the most significant events in Canadian history. As she aged into her final years, she began searching for someone worthy of owning the house and continuing its legacy. She sold it to Horace B. Smith, whose daughter Jean was engaged to marry Lieutenant Colonel Billy Barker, on the condition that their wedding would take place in the house. Billy Barker was the most celebrated war hero in Canadian history. He received the Victoria Cross after shooting down 50 enemy planes during World War I. While in the heat of the dogfight, his plane was shot down, but even though he was missing body parts and the engines had failed, he still managed to take out 3 more planes before surviving a crash landing. Billy and Jean proudly lived in the house for 9 years until Billy met his fate while test piloting a new military jet. In the same year, Jean's mother died, and the house became a place where she could not escape heartbreak. She began searching for a worthy owner of the house, just as Elizabeth had, in hopes of upholding tradition. She sold it to the Ursuline School, who retrofitted it to better accommodate learning. Unfortunately, when the school had outgrown the building, they did not follow through with tradition. Much like George Cox, they sold the property to the highest bidder, and it was demolished and replaced by high-rise apartments. After so many attempts were made to save the house, what do you think of its fate? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. I would also like to take a moment to say a special thank you to our This House supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on the screen, please consider joining our membership program today. I'll see you next time on This House.